The Bank of Canada has raised the interest rate to its highest level in over 20 years. And for more, we're joined by our money expert, Rubina Ahmed-Haq. Rubina, good morning to you. The new rate is 4.75% as inflation ticked back up in April after a number of monthly declines. Why is inflation? Why is it being so stubborn? And will this interest rate hike, will it be the one to get it under control, do you think?
So the reason inflation is remaining stubbornly high is that the labor market is very tight. Wages are going up. And so Canadians are willing to spend more money on household items, furniture, cars, anything else that goes into that CPI data. And that is pushing prices higher. So we haven't seen wages come up in almost a decade. But because the cost of living is going higher, employees are going to their boss or when they change jobs saying we need to be paid more to live in this big expensive city or wherever it is that they're asking them to live. And so when you've got more money in your pocket, you're more likely to go out there and spend it on items. And that's why the Bank of Canada is raising interest rates. CPI is one of it. The other is the fact that the economy is growing faster than expected. And that labor market, of course, remains quite tight. So most Canadians are working and making money.
Okay. A new report this week from RBC says sellers are coming back to Canada's housing market. I'm curious if there are buyers, but what effect will this latest interest rate hike have there? Do you expect prices to stabilize?
So about a month ago, many economists, and this includes those who follow the housing market, were saying that we were going to see this hot housing market going into the summer, that there was this pent up demand and that buyers were back in the market. And this RBC report does show that sales have ticked higher in the last little while. But with higher interest rates, it simply means Canadians can't afford to bid as much. So maybe the market may stay robust in the sense that more homes will change hands, but those prices are likely to stay lower because we simply can't afford to borrow more money to bid higher and higher on that home. And every time the interest rate goes up 1 percentage point, for an example, on a $300,000 mortgage, your out-of-pocket cost is about $175. So homeowners need to consider that when they're bidding on those homes. And we still have a supply problem. There's less homes for sale and more demand. So the market will stay robust, but maybe not the prices.
Okay, and it is true interest rates certainly aren't anywhere near their highs of, say, the 1980s, but the interest rate now at its highest point in 22 years. So that's fairly notable, Rubina. What is your advice for families?
Yeah, it's notable. If you think back, May 2021, that was before September 11th attacks. It just, just to put into perspective how long ago it was when we were at this same interest rate, because that's a moment in time I think most of us do remember and remember it now being, decades ago. The best advice for homeowners is that you should continue to do the math based on today's market numbers. A lot of people are being nostalgic about what the prices used to be when they're selling or what interest rates used to be when they're buying. It really is based it on the numbers that are true today, your income, and go into that home purchase if you are buying it still with the expectation that interest rates could go up. You continue to do that stress test. So could you afford that same mortgage if it was a percentage or 2 percentage points higher? Because that's going to build in some insurance if interest rates were to rise. If you're struggling to make your mortgage payments, call your bank. They may have some solutions for you in order to ease some of that pain.
All right. Canadian discount chain Dollarama reporting yesterday they beat market expectations for quarterly sales. What does it tell us about inflation and the Canadian economy right now, Rubina?
So discount retailers are doing really well in this inflationary environment because the grocery stores, the prices are going higher and higher, and consumers are looking for places to buy those same things for a lot cheaper. Now, Dollarama is one example. Walmart is another example. These are discount retailers where you can usually buy things for a lot less than you would maybe at your local grocery store. And they have been doing better because people are looking for those bargains. Profits are up 20% year over year. So the first quarter of 2022 compared to the first quarter of 2023, profits were up 20%. So if you go into, I know I was in a Dollarama recently, I am noticing people are buying everyday items, which I never experienced before, that look like they are for their pantry shelves and for grocery needs.
All right, finally, Rubina, we were just discussing this a moment ago. We want to get your take on this story. The CEO of Lululemon standing by the decision to fire 2 employees who tried to intervene during a recent theft. Just exactly why were these employees fired, and how big of a problem is theft for retailers and companies right now?
So theft has always been a problem for retailers. It's baked into their bottom line. They have some loss prevention costs, of course. They do loss prevention to mitigate some of those costs. And that's just a reality of having a retail store. People are going to shoplift. People are going to try to steal from you, not just even from the retail stores, but even before the items get into the store. They have some loss there as well. I don't have an opinion about whether they should have been fired or not. But I think that if somebody is, especially young people who work in retail, if the store is being burglarized, they maybe did not know how to react. Maybe the training wasn't there. Maybe the onus should really be on the company for better training. And if they didn't react in a way that fit the company's workplace policy, maybe it's about retraining them, not making them lose their jobs, which of course creates, chaos. And a lot of people are talking about it. And these employees saying that, we were just trying to stop this from happening. I can imagine even for myself, if something was going wrong, I would try to stop it from happening. I might not remember all that training that was given to me to just stand by and let them steal all those items.
Yeah. All right. We're going to leave it there for now. Rubina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.